Cool. Right. I've just about woken up, or thereabouts, and it's been a while since I've managed to get the time to do this again. So I thought I would continue as best I can. So I'm going to uh, figure out where we left off. I'm pretty sure we're at the stage where we can gather resources and attack things. Um, I think I need to implement a timer inside the AI. Um, so it doesn't perform the action as frequently as it does, because it's a little ridiculous at the moment. So whilst this is loading, so we need a timer in the AI. Oh, I already have one. I actually thought this through apparently. Okay, give me a sec. Right. So we have a selection box. We can tell them to hopefully. Oh yeah, because that's got no resources on it at the moment. Let me come out. We select it. Let me set the amount to something. Yeah, cool. Right. Okay. Let me go back in. We say attack the building or attack the person. Cool. All right. So all seems to function. So we do need to slow down their the rate in which they do things, and in order to do so, we want a private method in here, which is can perform actions, and we want a boolean of it's actually the same thing. There we go. So this will let me wait. Let me mouse. All right. So this will default to true, and then we simply in tick if can perform actions, and then actions equals false, and then we want to perform the action and set a timer, which we do like this. So we get the world, we get our action rates. Hang on, let me have a look. Yeah, action rates, timer. We want to run. Where's it gone? No, not. Sorry. Want to pass in the can perform actions, and then we have. Do I have a float for it? Nope. Just keep it simple for now. Action delay. Let's pull this over here. Action delay. I'm gonna set this to I know every half a second. And then in here we do perform actions equals true. So now we've got we can only, even though it's on tick, we can only do this once every half a second. Then we set a timer that will reset this boolean, and that will stop us from massacring everything, basically, both resources and AI. So something else we want to do. So I want to do the case where let's say we attacking a deer. We want to do the same premise. So let's figure this out. So in this else we've killed it, right? It has no health left. So what we actually want is else if and we need to check whether it implements the gatherable interface. So I think it will be target actor dot implements, and then we want I think it's U gatherable. U resource interface, and then what we do is we simply set it our current action to being gather. What's this going to be? So let's say we're attacking a deer and we run the damage target, but its health isn't greater than 0. Then that means that we've killed it. And if it happens to also implement the resource interface, we set the current action to gather, and then the next time we run our perform actions, we'll start attempting to gather the resources from it, in theory. So let's see if that works, because I don't see a reason why that wouldn't at the moment. Oh, I may need to import this. We'll see. I'll just double check that's how I do the yeah, it's that. And so now if we right click on the deer and it dies, it should start losing its food values as well. So if I hit play, I select these, I select this, I eject. So we can see the health is going down over here. Oh, I haven't put in anything to cheat. Okay. Um, 1 second. Where are we looking? I'd rather not buy follows or primes or anything. Thank you very much. It's not the reason I'm doing this. Where am I looking? Here. So what's happening there is that they are too far away. Okay, so we need to separate this out. So in here, we go, so if we're close enough, do what we were doing before. Oh, whoops. Otherwise, we want to move to the actor. I should be able to hot compile this. Let's see. Cool, compile complete. Right, So we select our boys, hopefully get them to attack this, and hopefully when this thing moves too far away, yep, there we go, they follow it. Okay, so back to watching the health value, and then proceeding the food value afterwards. Oh, I could give it less health, but there's no need at the moment. Come on. It's running for its life. Oh, it's gonna. Oh, and it's dead. And yeah, look at that. They're now gathering the resources from it. Excellent. Simple as that. Yeah, that's really cool. Okay, I mean, I may not leave that concept in, but it's good to prove that it works. Because normally, at least in most RTS, your people that are killing things aren't also the ones that can gather from it. And I suppose with hunters, that's actually not the case. Oh, that is the case, in fact. I'll leave it for now. It makes sense. It will do. So, let's think of what would be worth sorting out next. Oh, I know. Let's make it so they can only gather stuff up to like the amount that they can actually carry. So if we go into the character class, so we've got all of these stats for their character type, their name, health, everything. I probably ought to do something for like weapons and things, which we'll come on to later. But it's not what makes the game an RTS. I'm going to try and focus fundamentally on the concepts that you typically find in an RTS first, and then make it better. So, like, the next thing I'm going to try and do is make buildings that can produce units, and the ability to construct buildings in places and make walls that connect to each other, and that kind of stuff. But for now, we want a float. Cool. Well, let's make it int. This is going to be carry weight. Okay, and by default, let's make carry weight 20. So now we've got this idea of carry weight. And in the AI here, I could do with a method that returns a RTS game character. Is there a simpler way to do this? Yeah, actually, hang on. So we're gonna have a thing called character, and then this is gonna be quite a nice little method actually. So we're gonna have one this, and this is going to be get RTS character, and then here, so I could, for instance, return a cast to this, which would be get character, right? And then every single time we run this method, we would cast this. But what I can do is if RTS character is null pointer, then I can do it once here, and then return the value. And now the first time you run this and it hasn't been set, it casts the get character, and from now on this will just return a pointer without having to do a cast each time. I don't think casts are particularly performance intensive, but this is something we're going to be likely using a lot. So what we want to do, so in order for us to be able to calculate whether or not we've exceeded the carry weight, the characters are going to need an array of resources with an amount. So we're going to need a T array. So this is basically going to be their inventory, essentially. And it's going to be F resource. And I'm actually going to make it a map, so we can really easily reference it. So, what we're going to do here is every time we, oh, not here, sorry. Where am I looking? Here, right. Don't need the animal controller anymore. Okay, so we have this concept of take resources. So this is where we need to be reasonably clever. So we need to be able to figure out our current weight. So we need a method which is literally just called get weight, which I'll make it a virtual method. Okay, so this is going to be a loop over the objects in the map. So we want for let's think this is going to be an F resource in stats dots resources values. It's been a while since I've done this. I mean, I could keep it simple and have it as a loop in a loop, which would be T pair the resource type resource and then it'd be we want in 32 weight equals 0. Don't need that at all. weight plus equals res dot will be something like this. So let's try and find where I've got an example of that. It really has been a while. Why do I use maps? Let me have a look. It's gonna be easier if I do it like this. Content. Oh. So I'm gonna do it. So we've got, they're all in the header. Oh, whoops, that's not what I meant. Hang on, sorry, there we go. Find or add. I don't No, okay, not in there. Let's try in here. Okay, right, looks like we're going to the Unreal Engine documentation. For tmap. Queries. Yeah, see, they use auto. But I'm pretty sure it's a, yeah, it's a T pair. What have I got? Let's close that a sec. That should be right. Let me stop this. What am I looking up here? So we've got resource type, resource, it's a map. That's interesting. So it would be something like its value. Let's see if this compiles. Oh, yeah, that's a good shout. Where does this live? God, that's interesting. Okay, one sec. Yeah, so it'd be in resource.h. Yeah. Oh, so, okay, hang on. It's not f resource, it's f resource stats. There we go. Wonderful. Right, that's my bad. So this was f resource was an existing thing. Let me close that down again. Don't need that. So what we want to do is get the total carry weight. So we can hold multiple types of resources. So we need to iterate over them. Probably don't need that. Excellent. There we go. So that built. So now we have the ability to get the current weight of the character based on all of its resources. So in here, you go if get RTS character dot get weight. What are we looking for? Less than okay, so we need access to the stats, but we need carry weight. So we need the same premise again. This is going to be carry weight. We're going to implement that. This is literally going to return stats dot carry weight. So in here we go get carry weight. So if we have space at all, but we do actually need to know what that number is. So this is going to be space, and it's going to be so now we have oh, wrong way around. It's going to be the carry weight minus their current weight. So this will be if it's greater than 0 and we have some space available, then what we want to do is we need to know the amount of resources left. Oops. Amount is going to equal Ri dot, and then we want another integer for how much we can take. And I've done this before, and this is quite a straightforward method. So this is going to be the min. It's f. I think it's f math. So that how did I? There's a min max thing that I used to use a lot. It's probably going to be in here. There we go. Let me just steal those, put these up here. So these are definitions, and it's literally one's lower than the other, which is quite useful. So then I can, and I know it works because I've used it literally everywhere. Where are we heading? So then we want the minimum of amount and space. So they may not have enough resources left over for us to fill our inventory, or we may not have enough space to carry the amount left over. But then we take that. Now obviously this is going to perform a gather action, and the amount to take is actually going to be there should be a value for gather amount. So we need to know how much a character can gather. So we want another integer, which is going to be gather amount. And then we want stats.gather amount equals, let's call it 5. So then we can influence it by percent bonuses and changes to the tech trees and stuff. So we want to do the same thing here, and we want to go get gather amount. This will be done soon, which would be nice. Gather amount. And then we want to do this. So we want amount to take is also going to be the min of get RTS character dot get gather amount and amount to take. Yeah, that should be fine. So it's always going to take the lowest. And we can see how this works. So if I come into here, now we also now need to actually add the resources to the character's inventory. So now we can literally do get character, and we want something like take resources. It's going to be inverted to amount, and then it's going to be I resource interface. So then we create the implementation, and this will be so we now need to actually add this to our inventory. So we have this stats.resources kind of thing. So what we can actually do in one method, which is really, really useful, there's a find or add. So we go ri.get type, and isn't there one just by the key? So we want f resource stats res dot amount equals res dot type equals ri dot get type. Actually, we don't want to do a find or add, we just want to do a find. And we might as well make this let's rename that because that's looks like it's a reserved word, so res, call that resource type. There we go, it's gonna bulk changed it everywhere. Close all but this. Right. So we're getting this and we're doing a find on this. So this is going to be f resource stats I'm pretty sure it returns as a pointer. We'll find out shortly, I'm sure. Pretty sure I've done this in this project actually. Let me just have a look because I think it's in here. Yeah, it returns it as a pointer to that. Yep, cool. Right. So if res stats null, then all we do is resources dot add, and it's res dot resource type. Right. Else dot amount plus equals amount. Let's tidy this up a bit more. We only want to produce that inside of here. Alright, get type res resource type. Yeah, okay, excellent. Alright. So if we haven't found one, we add one. Otherwise, we just add to the existing amount. And now we go back into the AI. And in here we literally do take resources, amount to take, RI. Wonderful. Let's see what breaks. It's the first thing. Probably nothing. I may have forgotten to include something, but I don't think so. We should be okay. Oh, oh, intriguing. Hang on a second. Oh, I didn't make this a pointer. So that's my bad to start with. Let me change signature, literally just adding that. Yeah, it's whatever. That's interesting. Okay, let's actually rename this to receive resources. Be a bit more explicit because there's already a take resources in animal. Yep, I thought this might happen. Give me a sec. Okay, there we go. Because these are two separate methods now. What? What? Huh? Okay. We're doing that. We're doing this. And this. Right. Character receive resources. Animal with take resources. Animal with take resources. Right. Oh. Probably still gonna have some errors. Right. Oh, Okay, let's try this again. We're just tidying up now. There's probably going to be another one, right? Cannot convert value type to have a look at the controller because this has a working version of this. So if I go to this, it's a U material type that's a pointer. Oh. I suppose it wouldn't be a pointer. But it should be. Okay, let's remove that and oh yeah, okay, this is, let's see if it's a reference. Oh yeah, it can't be. Hang on. Right, right. Okay, so what we've got here, this should return a pointer. So if we go to queries, find key. Yeah, it should be that. Okay. But let's try this. Oh, I can never remember with these things. Yeah, sorry. So it has to be. This has to be a pointer. Right, so what's the actual error? Cannot convert from value type to. Okay. Because so my reckoning here is this map is currently a T map of E resource type to F resource stats. So when we do find, it actually stores it. This is a pointer to this class because it may not exist. So always return a pointer because we're finding something. It may not necessarily be inside the map. And therefore this is going to be a pointer of the class in the second part of the pair, so the value of the pair. And so this is going to return a pointer of that. We check whether it's found it, and if it has, we now have a pointer to what's inside the map, and we can increment its amount. Right. Should have seen that one coming. Right, let's do this. I think it's set up properly now. So in theory, we should be able to hit play, select our character, gather some gold or wood. I can't remember what that one is. Gold with a capital O. Excellent. So, here we go. Right. So our carry weight minus our weight should be 20, which it is. And that's because we set 20 to be the default carry weight in here. And we don't currently have any resources. And let me close all the unnecessary stuff again. You don't need the header file. There we go. Now this amount should be, come on, where are we looking? Stats, amount should come out to 100. Okay, excellent. The amount to take should then equal 20 because that's our max storage capacity. And now we need to figure out how much we can gather. So we come down to here and it should be 5 because that's how much gather rate we've got. And then if I clear all of these things here, just go into here and hit continue. So we're taking 5 and now our space is down to 15 because we've got, we just took 5 of the items. And if I come into here, right, and then receive resources, we should find, yep, there we go. So in our resources map, we now have gold of an amount equal to 5, and we are adding 5 to that existing amount. The next time we do it, we only have 10 space left. And we come back into here, and we're adding another 5. And then we come back into here, and we add another 5. And hopefully, next time this happens, space is 0. And we can't take any more. And now if I eject and select this character, we can see we have resources, gold, 20. Wonderful. And if we stop this and we hit play and we remove the breakpoint on here, so I'm going to eject, select the deer, I'm going to set its health to 10. Going to select this guy. And then we should see this start, there it goes. And he collected 20 food from it. So not only did he follow it around and kill it, he then proceeded to collect the resources from it and stop when he reached his limit. And the deer should, yep, it's only got 5 food left. Simple as that. I say as simple as that, I mean that did actually take a while to set up. But now we have the concept of characters that can gather resources. They have an inventory, which we can actually display. So, and unlike in other games, we could actually have the capability of showing you their currently held inventory with like items and stuff, which would be cool. We could even lean into the concept of them having an individual inventory and for instance, if they were a military unit, we could make it so they still have the ability to gather, but their carry weight is influenced by armor. and weaponry that they're carrying at the moment. And then we could have this whole system of your troops can do like a pillaging, raiding kind of thing. But your warriors at the front are unlikely to be able to carry much weight. So you have like, you maybe have units dedicated to gathering resources that can fight, that like hold off from the combat or something. That would be quite a cool idea, maybe. But we can mess around with this. That's the thing. Like, if I wanted to do that armor concept now, I could literally go into the character, add an array of like carried armor, do the same principle with the get weight thing here, and we just have another loop that iterates over their all of their items in their inventory, or something to that effect, basically. I seem to have acquired a weird cut on my arm. Oh well, right. So there we go. So we can gather resources, we have a carry weight limit, and now we need to do the I want to say the fun part. um I suppose it can be. I think it will be anyway. Um so we need the concept of a like a supply depot, something that can hold resources. And as always, we're going to be using um, an interface for it, I think, because it may not just be buildings that could hold resources for you. Right, here we go. So for now we do need a building. So we're going to create a subclass of our building. And this is going to be town hall. We're going to leave it doing its thing because it takes a short while. There we go, reload all, stop debugging. Okay, so now we have the idea of a town hall, which good. I hate this so much. Close Visual Studio. The idea is you don't touch anything whilst it's trying to load the files and such. If you do, it really screws itself over. But I forgot, and I think I interacted with them. Right, round 2. We do actually need to launch this again. So what we're looking to do here is we want probably again an interface. I'm just gonna call it a storage or something, just to keep it simple. And then the interface will also come with a struct for storage. Then we need to do something clever with the resource struct. Okay, right. 1 second. So go into here and we do this, and we make a Unreal interface. This is going to be storage interface. Not going to press anything, just going to leave it. I should probably be making my interfaces have pure virtual methods in them. I will maybe it's doing it again. There's a way of avoiding that, and I don't know what it is, but we'll carry on. At least it doesn't take very long to load. And that's the only other class I need to work with anyway. So we need the what do you call it? We're going to need some inheritance on what's it called? What's it called? What's it called? The resource on the resource struct. Okay, storage interface. So we don't need town hall as of yet. We need it to do. Going to make it implement the. Is that right? Now, yeah. So this is going to have a storage interface. There we go. Okay, and we need a struct, so I'm just gonna commandeer this. And this is going to be a item. And this is going to contain so we have an item, we have an F string, which is going to be its name. And we're going to have a 32, which is amount. And I think that's all we need. A name and the amount. Right, let's think about this. So when it comes to, so this is gonna have like an inventory. Did I want to do this as an interface? I think so. Yeah, okay. So we're going to have a virtual T array F item. Which is going to be called get items. And then we want a we probably want an F item. Something like this. And then this is actually going to have some functionality. So for item it gets items if dot name equals name. I think this would need to be returning pointer. I think I do that. Let's just compile that real quick. Oh, that's not going to work. Hang on. Because we need to implement these methods. This method on town hall. Sorry, I'm jumping around a bit here. I'll explain this in a second. Create implementation. So town hall is going to have private TRA F. Wow. Okay, I think that'll be alright. Town hall, override. Let's just see if this compiles before I get too far ahead of myself. So we're creating the concept of things that have inventories, basically. Oh yeah. And the concept of an item. And items in our game are structs. Let's try that. Hmm. Yeah, okay. So this is... I wonder how find works then. Let me just look into this a second, because this isn't something I don't think I've tried to do this before. I want the equivalent of the find method, essentially. Yeah, see, I thought that was right. So this is telling me returning address of local variable or temporary item. So is that taking a copy of it? Let's try this. Yeah, okay. I'm just going to look this up real quick. Hmm. Um, Oh, damn it. Okay, we want... Hmm. Funny that it's somebody else is using it for an inventory system, because pretty standard. Oh, okay, let's try this different way. No, because then it has to equal something. Let's just remove that entirely. This may not be viable anyway. Right, I'm just going to stop. Okay. This should at least compile. And I'll come back to that later. Oh. Yeah, see. Okay, hang on. This is kind of mad, but whatever. Stick it back to that. Cannot convert. Really for... What are we looking for? It's the... What is a pointer and a reference there? Just need to find out the generic term for this. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I know what they are. I'm trying to figure out what they're... Oh, I suppose, yeah, the pointer is a kind of reference. Yeah, okay, that's fine. For, from, something like this. Let's just see if this has anything of these. Um, okay. Yeah, see, that's what I've been doing. So you have I don't know where that value is at all, but whatever. Ah. This is basically what I'm looking for. Oh. Yeah, see, so, um, hmm, I am absolutely certain I've done this before. I'm just going to have a look, because I can't for the life of me figure out why it doesn't work the way I think it does. Um, Sorry about this. This is kind of important though. If I figure this one out, then it should help a lot later. Um, uh, this is my one of my first games. Just seeing if it's anywhere in here. Nope. Doesn't look like I've got one in here. Um, yeah, okay. Whatever. This is a pretty standard thing to be doing. Because we want, at some point, we're going to want to search somebody's inventory by name and return an item. Keep this simple. I shouldn't have to do that. Huh. That's interesting. What are you actually complaining about? Unresolved external TRA. Okay, you know what? I'm going to comment this out. Uh, that was a bit of a wild goose chase. Okay, right, so you're still complaining. It's an unresolved external. TRA, get items. Oh, of course. Let's just look at pure virtual methods a second. So UE4, C++, interfaces. That's interesting. Did it not find? Oh, is it not in here? No, this is other stuff. Um, I did something for this for someone earlier. Come on, come on, come on. Why did I find it? I think it is literally just that. Nope. Okay, hang on. Yeah, blah blah blah. You're not going to. Wait, is there another page or something? Yeah, okay, whatever. Oh, for God's sake. Okay, I'm just gonna go back to my Reddit post where I answered this person's stuff. Let me do this over here a sec. Um, because I found it in here before. But I think this is where I just was. Oh no, I was answering someone else's question. Damn it. Hmm. Why is this so hard to find? Oh, for God's sake. It's pure virtual C++. It's probably the one I've already been to. It's the one that I think I've just looked at. Ah, bugger. Okay, let's try this. So it looks like it's a function. Is it something like this? No, I didn't tell you to do that. Is it a reference to it? Why don't they have an example of the actual code? Right, there we go. And then I think you do that. Oh, I'm being an idiot as well to start with, so nope. Right, what's wrong? Yeah, okay. This is really annoying, actually. This is pretty critical to getting this working. Get items. Okay. Alright. Alright, there we go. Whatever. This is a complete mess, and I need to figure this one out. Because unfortunately, that's going to be very necessary. We need to return a reference to the array, because otherwise, we won't get the actual items. We'll get a copy of the array that we can't make changes to, and we need to make changes to it. I might put a post on Reddit on how to approach this, because it's not trivial. Anywho, it will work anyway because the town has an items list. And now we need to be able to go and drop items off at the town using our AI. So for that to work, we need go into here, and we have capacity. Okay. Oh no, that's an item. We want to take this and make another strat called f. Let's call it inventory. And actually this could have Okay. I'm just trying to think. This is an interface, but it's not. Because multiple inheritance would allow me to make the whole concept of something with an inventory right inside this class, and I wouldn't need to override any of the methods in it. I could, I just wouldn't need to. So if I was, let's try and do this correctly. So we have items in our inventory. We also have in 32 we want capacity, and then we're going to have this as protected, and then this is going to be F inventory, right? And then we're going to have a virtual method that return that's called add item, which is going to be F item. Remove item. Right. And all this is going to do take this, I think that's right, and then we do item dot amount minus equals amount. Oh, alright, there we go. So we can remove items, we can add items. This is going to need to do the same thing. And we want a item found equals false if found, oh wait, if not item found, add it, otherwise plus equals name hang on, same premise as this. All right. Okay, so now we have a method for adding and removing items from an inventory of something that that implements the storage interface. So if I get rid of this and I get rid of that, we get rid of this, and we build. Oh, yep, done the same thing again. Now we'll end up with a town hall that implements thingy. Inventory dot items. Fantastic. So now we need to do something in here. So here we go. We need to do the same premise that we've got in here with all the carry weight and stuff, but for delivering items back to a storage. So we need the AI to be able to navigate to something. So we have attack, gather, build, move, patrol. So we want something under gather, which is deposit. Very explicit. There we go. And then in here, we want a case depositing resources. Then we make a method called deposit resources. Oh, hang on, this actually has some really useful. Okay, add missing case statements. Wonderful. Right. And then we need this. Be cheap and copy and paste that. We're going to create the declaration. Fine. We don't need town hall. And then we go into basic AI. Can I? Let's have a look. It's this. I'm gonna delete that message as well. Okay. Deposit resources. So this is going to be else current action. Whoops. In depositing resources. We don't need this anymore. So now we need to find somewhere to drop off the resource to. So we want if target actor dot implements my storage interface. Then we need to go. This is going to be. Oh, I wonder if you can. So there's a method for getting all the axes in the world. This is a expensive method to use, but I mean it does the trick. Oh, that's awesome. Cool. Okay, so there should be. It's something like you. Bismuth. Come on. Let me just find my get actors of world method, because I kind of need it at the moment. I think I have one. I'm not sure where it might be. Rocket, perhaps. No, I abolished it in here, I think. uh, get drones in radius. We'll get there. Yeah, I made it very useful. Oh well. We want that in C++. Okay, hang on a sec. Equals C++ factors of class. Oh, we just want the documentation. Nope, that's not C++. Yeah, it's game-based statistics, okay. Right, back we go. Nothing else, okay. So, get all actors, there it is. So we want get world. We want its I storage interface. Sorry, it's U storage interface static class. And then it's storage actors T array. Something like this. Now let's compile that. I've not used get all actors with interface before. Let's have a look. Oh, it's going to return actors with it. Okay, my bad. So this is actually a actor. And this is use storage interface. And we go for actually we're only going to put one in the world for now, just to test this out. If storage actors dot num greater than 0, target actor equals storage actors 0. Okay, that should do the trick there. Yeah. Otherwise, So we go within 500 of it. We then perform the action. So we're already moving towards the actor regardless. And then what we want is the iStorage interface. Storage equals class. Target actor. Same as we're doing below here, but now for storage. And then we go storage dot add item, and it's going to literally be, just for now, call it gold, and the amount is 10. Right, we just want to see if this functions at all. Where are we looking? Yeah, I know it's not, but why are you... Oh, okay, yeah, that's my bad. This is meant to be a U storage interface. There we go. And hopefully this will do the trick. So we're in here. Okay, so obviously we don't actually have a storage yet. So go blueprint class. We type in town hall, which is a storage interface thing. We give this a physical object, some persuasion. It's whatever. Put this one over here. Control, I don't know. Can't miss it. Right. So what we need to do is select this. Right click on the building. Oh, it's currently trying to kill it, I think. Let me yes, it's currently trying to kill it. Okay, I didn't think that one through. Oh, I know. Sorry. Right. So we select this. I'm being really stupid here. We select this. We tell it to get some gold. And then it will get some gold. It will run over to the storage and add some gold to the storage. Now, obviously, this is of course, this is going to be like resource type or something, and actually take it from the character's inventory, but it functioned. So we went through here. Right, so if I stop this, hit play. Now if we select this, we do that. So they're going to kill it. they're going to gather some resources. Oh, there's a case that I haven't considered, which is where the animal has no resources left to give. Hang on. But they're still killing it. Yeah, so I think I need to put some ridiculous amount in here. Now, okay, so their inventory filled up because we wouldn't be here otherwise. Which we can see if we go to this RTS character, stats, resources. So we can see it's gathered 20 food. And then we're looping through all the actors in the world that have a storage. And we found the town hall blueprint. And then we're going to set our target to it, and then we're going to head over to it and add stuff. And if I stop this, I'm wondering if I can expose that property on the storage interfaces. So we can actually see their inventory. Nope. I'm going to assume it's because of that. Yeah, member variable. It's whatever. We'll figure that one out later, I think. Now it's fine. So it works. We have a town hall. Let's look at that corner case 1 second, because that's when. Oh no, hang on. And I know how to fix that. Okay, that will do the trick. In fact, I can pull this property out, put it in there. So now we shouldn't have the same problem with the deer, because our inventory won't be full. But the deer won't have anything left, so we'll try and find somewhere to store it. Okay, so when we hit play, select both of them. Let's set itself to 20. And we should see the food go. I am very confused. Wait, what are you doing? Gather. Right. Oh. Oh, Okay. So we can put this up here. So I have a different idea here. So if the amount is greater than 0, come into here. So this shouldn't ever be the case. Okay, so this is when we do have something to gather, but we may not have space. And if we have space, we take some resources. But if there is no amount left, we will search for other resources. So what we want to do, so we want resource actors. This is going to be new resource interface. And then in here, we will loop through all of the iResource. Just going to call it res inter for now. Call it resource then. Okay, so we've emptied out the resources, and we likely still have space, I think. Hang on. Okay, so the resource we're targeting has run out of resources. So we check if we have space. If we don't have space, we deposit resources. So we could have maxed out our, if we only had one space left and there was one resource left, then we would come into here. Because we've maxed out, it's run out and we've run out. And this is the it's run out, but we haven't run out. And now we're searching for anything else that is a resource. We want to let's call it Resi. Oh, whoops. Sorry, I just jumped all over the shop. And then we want to check if resi.getType equals ri.getType. Target actor equals res. So what we're doing here is we're checking if the resources that we found on the map are of the same resource type of the one we were previously told to harvest. So this is going to be quite cool to see in practice. And if it is, we set our target act to that resource. And then the next time we come round to gathering resources, it will just do the same functionality on that. So if we had 2 lots of gold, one of them only had 5 left, and we had 20 on our inventory space left in our carryway, we would harvest the 5 from the gold, and then we would search for all other resources in the game, and which there probably won't be many, and then we check whether it's the same type. So we'd find, say, another gold node, and then we'd automatically start walking to gather that node. However, we do also need this, because if we found a food resource, so let's say this was a deer, we'd still have to kill it first. So wait, so in either case, so we want damageable interface. So we found something that's got a matching resource, and then if it implements the damaging interface, we want damageable interface. We need to check whether or not we need to actually kill it. Okay, so in here we go if Magi get health greater than 0, then we want to set the target actor to that, but we also want to set our current action to attack. So as an example, let's write this out. So is this a resource that can be attacked? Does the target health left attack the target? If they don't, then we otherwise they're dead. So gather from it. They can't be attacked, so nice to be explicit here. So this is what we're doing. Target target ran out of resources, but we still have carry space. Does the target have resources left? Do we have carry space left? Find the lowest. Gather either the resource has less than we can carry slash other, or we lack space to gather fully. There we go. All right. Sorry, that took a short while. Yeah. And then this is the penultimate. Another one of these. Okay, so it may look a little convoluted, but realistically all we're doing is a nice method that will work for any given type of resource. So if for whatever reason we had gold that had health, maybe like a golden elemental creature, this function, and we told some workers to gather some gold. If they run out of the gold that they were physically next to, so like this pile of rocks, kind of gold over here, then they would find the golden elemental and they would fight it, and then when they've done fighting it, they would gather the resources from it. So to prove this works, I'm going to make 2 deers. I'm going to delete one of the characters, and one of the deers is going to have each deer is going to have 10 food. So then we want them to, we'll just give them 10 health as well, just to be easy. So what's going to happen is I'm going to command the NPC to attack the deer. It will attack one of the deers. It will drain its resources twice, because we take 5 at a time. And then it will figure out that we've run out of resources on the deer. Then it will try and track down another food resource. In this case, it will be the other deer. We will then, in theory, fight the deer, then drain its resources, and then we'll be full. And there aren't any more resources of this type, which I think, have we covered? No, I don't think so. Actually, that's a good point. Hang on, this is going to be a break in the loop. That's going to be a break, and that's going to be a break. And we probably just want a very simple if resource actors num 0. We probably want to do deposit resources. Okay. Just so if it doesn't ever find any other resources, then we can move just straight back to a storage. Eventually, I will make lots of useful methods that do this kind of thing. So this premise here, where we're checking whether it's a resource and it has health, we're currently doing twice. So it'd be very useful to have a method that calculates all of that kind of stuff once rather than multiple times, etc. Okay, so hopefully these should be randomly moving. And I select the guy and say attack that. Just going to pause it. So we'll watch the health go down. Then the food go down. Okay, and if we go on to our guy here, carry rate, we have 10 food. And what are you currently doing? Space is 10. I know what's happened. Residual get amount 0. Yeah, we didn't check whether the other resource that we found actually has any, because what this will do is just through sheer random chance, the first one in the array could be the one that we currently have targeted, and therefore we're stuck attacking or gathering from the same deer, basically. But it seems to be functioning, so if I do that, eject. Come on, go for the other one. So he's killing that one. Oh, EA got the food from the other one, and he's going back. Nice. Okay, so just to prove that that works, I'm going to select this one, pause the game, tell him to attack this. Oh, hang on. Pause, and I'm going to eject and select this. So he's going to fight this one, and then he's going to come over to this one and fight it. Yep, there he goes. But then he's going to gather our food. So we die, gathers our food, and then heads back to the resource storage depot. And if I go to here and we do this, we're adding gold and the amount. So, I mean, obviously it's adding the wrong thing because we haven't actually told it to take items from the inventory of the character here. But now we can. I feel like, I mean, I've been going for 2 hours now. It's a bit of a long-winded video. I think I will, when this goes to YouTube, put in some chapters so people can skip over the errors and stuff, because that's a little ridiculous to to leave in. But equally, my internet speed's not good enough to effectively download, then upload, and then do the edits and then upload again. So I shall leave it as it is for now. So realistically, all we need to do in here is something like for where are we doing this? We want to copy this, but it's going to be get RTS character get. Oh, no, okay. We need something like we probably ought to have one which is literally just get stats. I can stop the game now. Just for now, get stats dot resources, and then we're going to do storage dot add item, and it would be res dot value. Do we not have resource stats, perhaps? Well, this would be, is it type? I probably need to convert it to a string or something. I wonder if there's a evil string, which is like one of the most useful functionality things in existence. Intriguing. I would have thought there would be a very standardized method for this by now. I'm honestly surprised the engine hasn't got one built in. That's quite useful. Let's just copy this and see if it can work in here. So we need to do that. We need to create declaration. How do we use that then? A num to string. Oh, okay, I see. So we want to be doing. Sorry, this is really cool. Very, very, very powerful thing to use. So we want this, and it will be stop. It's e resource type. So we're going to. This is just getting some text, basically. Oh, what happened to the method call? That's weird. Very useful for the future, basically. Converting enumerations to strings is not trivial. I want to say its amount. Yeah. And let's do that. Just so if there's any errors with this, it should be okay. Yeah, that's fair enough. Let's just rebuild because that could have been causing the other problem. Warning. Oh, it's deprecated. Text by index. By there we go. Alright, let's see if this works. So in theory, we're going to be spamming all of the items into the inventory. Hang on, let me fix this because empty. we want to obviously, once we've added all the resources, we want to get rid of them out of our own inventory. Oh, I'm almost surprised that compiled right. So we need this to attack that. And now we wait. And we'll go to the other one. Gather the resources from that. Head to the storage in a second. And hit our breakpoint. Wonderful. And the name is food. Hey, that's so cool. And the amount is 20. And then if I get rid of this and eject and check the character, we should have okay. We'll figure this one out later. I'm not sure why empty didn't work. There's no clear. What's reset and preserves all allocations? And oh, that's interesting. Potentially space allowed for an expected number of. Oh, that's interesting. Because you can default the arrays to a certain amount, and it wouldn't be too far-fetched to default them to like 5 different types of items or something. That way they don't have memory going all over the shop. And it will be slightly more efficient in the long run. I'm surprised empty hasn't worked. If I clicked on the wrong thing, I am of confusion. Okay, locals, this, character, stats. Is it because get stats isn't returning a reference, perhaps? Let me change that real quick. We just want to add oh. Why do you do this? Sometimes it just completely breaks everything. I'll do it manually from now on. That was ridiculous. But we want a reference to it rather than a copy of it. So then the empty should actually empty the real values. And the advantage of having it work like this is that we could, for instance, have a RTS character class that implements the storage interface. So we could have like a caravan or something that can you can take with you. Just don't do enough damage. Or have ranged attacks. Hey. Okay, so I'm just going to believe that it worked. Give me a sec. You went over here. And it worked. There we go. Yeah, we just needed reference. So now we have ooh. Okay. In theory, if I now add more food value to this, it should find more. No, okay. No, because it's... Yeah, hang on, let me... Okay, so it can go back. And if I put in, say, 100 food on here... Oh no, because we haven't... So we haven't made the code for when it's finished gathering and finished depositing resources, that it goes back to gathering. Could we do that? Probably another time. I'm going to stop now because this is really cool. I will try and do a full explanation or something. Maybe, I don't know. I think this code is fairly easy to understand because it's pretty literal in English now. The main things that we've got now is the concept of a storage interface, which we can attach to buildings, to people, to resources if we wanted. God knows why. But we do also need the concept of a team, so that we can only interact with storage facilities that are on our team and all that kind of stuff. For that to happen, yeah, we need more methods and stuff. But that's really cool. That's pretty much the crux of the resource gathering for a game of this nature. You have workers that can carry stuff, they fill up, they go back to storage. Perhaps we should store the previous target. That wouldn't be a bad idea. So we could have something like and then what we want to do, sorry about this. This is something that's why encapsulation's good. Okay, we now have a getter and setter, but I want to change it so that the previous target, whenever we set it, equals target actor before it changes. And now everywhere there's target actor, it's now get target actor. And wherever we're setting it, it should be, yep, set target actor. So now we have access to the previous target, and we can literally do, where are we looking here? Something like this. And when we go to deposit resources, we do if, let's remove that. And then this is going to be if previous target implements resource interface, then we literally want to do set target actor to previous target, and then current action going to equal gather, and then it should head back to the previous target, and then it will what are we doing this, yeah, so once we've dropped off our resources, we check what the previous target was, which would likely be like deer or gold or wood or something. We set our target actor to the previous one, and then we go current action gather, and then it will do exactly what it was doing before. It would check the distance, we would walk towards it, and then it would check the amount, the space requirements, and in theory it should just keep going back and forth between the supply and the resource, which I can check very easily right now if I make it gather the gold. We're at the point where little things like this really start making the game feel a lot more real, I think. Where it goes from just being some blocks on a screen with some stuff moving around to some real nice like AI interaction and stuff. And we can start setting up little like supply lines and things, and watching the AI automatically run around the map and do what they're supposed to. So we're taking the amount, we're going back to the storage, dropping it off, going back to the gold, taking the amount, going back to the storage, dropping it off. Oh, this is awesome. And if I go into the storage interface and we go into here, the next time it hits this, which is now, we have an item which is gold, amount 20, and we're adding another 20 to it. And then we hit continue, and then we go back here. Now I think that's not working properly at the moment. Yeah, because this item amount isn't incrementing, but this is something we can fix later. But the functionality is working, so it's going through all of this, it's doing its gather resource, filling up its inventory, and then when it's full, it's coming back to the storage, dropping it off, and then going back to the resource again. So we just need to fix this concept of getting the like a pointer to the f, the struct basically. But we're all good. So I will I'll actually do this now and upload the code changes, which will be gathering. So all of that code is available online on the in my GitHub repository, which I should go to here. And as always, I'll just post it in chat there if anyone's hasn't found it. It is in my about. And we're good to go. We have done quite a lot in a short space of time. I mean, this game's gone from nothing to this in, what's it been now? 6 hours? I think, yeah. Something like that. Because I've only ever streamed this. It's 6.5 hours, I think. I did like an hour for the first couple, hour and a half for the next, and this is like 2, so yeah, about 6 hours. And it may not look like much, it's not graphically appealing, because it doesn't need to be, because if I get this functioning to the point where, you know, you click on a building and you construct units and you can command them to go and do whatever it is they're supposed to, and do like upgrades and all that kind of stuff. If we get all of that working, even with it just looking like this, it doesn't matter. We have a fully functional real-time strategy game that we can expand on. We can make any kind of changes that we want to it. I could literally copy the project and make one version where it's like an RPG, like Spellforce, where you actually control a main character with skills and there's quests, and you can construct buildings and things like a normal RTS. I could make it a first-person survival game where you hire workers to come and do stuff, and you go around and you can shoot things and stuff. You know, that there's realistically no limitations to it, but once you've got the core concepts of an RTS sorted, I can make it look like and behave in pretty much any way I want. And that's what we're doing. I've asked if any of my mates wanted to contribute any models or designs or anything, and some of them seemed reasonably interested, so that would be good fun. So yeah, I hope this has been somewhat useful, and I will do my best to make the this particular video a bit easier to navigate given how long it will be. So I'll see you guys around.